What's going on, you guys? I'm Matt. Today we're going to be talking about the 7 things you can do to level up your yearbook photography. Let's get started. Just so you know, I spent 13 years teaching yearbook and photography at the high school level, so I know a little bit about what we're talking about today. I also want to call out the Newport Yearbook for letting me wear their 6 sweatshirt today. They're making me look good. So like I said, we're going to talk about 7 things. 5 of these are going to cost you absolutely $0.00. The last 2, though, could get a little expensive. So let's just jump right into it. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do to level up our yearbook photography is we're going to start taking a lot of photos, and I mean a lot. I want you to start thinking that for every hour you're at an event, you should be taking at least 300 photos per hour. That's about 5 photos per minute, so that's really not that many, which means at a football game, you're gonna take about 1,000 photos. The kids who used to be in my yearbook class, they would spend a year with me in Photo 1-2 before they joined my yearbook program. And the very first time I sent them to photograph a football game, I would tell them, don't come back with less than 1,000 photos, because photographing a live event or walking into a classroom where you're not super comfortable is really hard. And to get good photos, you're gonna have to take a lot. Let me prove it to you. You guys, I've been doing photography since I was 14 years old, and I'm almost 48, so that's a long time. Check this out. The other day I went to go photograph the basketball game at my kids' high school. And while I was there, I took 1,348 pictures. So when I come over here and I turn on my filter to say, only show me the photos that I think are good enough to put in the yearbook, I got 8. And I've been doing photography for over 30 years. So you guys who are brand new to photography, you're gonna need to take a lot to get even a few good ones. The second thing you should be doing to level up your yearbook photos, you guys, is you need to edit every photo that's going to go into your yearbook. And whether you're using Lightroom like I am here, or Photoshop like right here, or Adobe Bridge, every photo that goes into your book needs to be edited for at least color and contrast. And nothing against the online photo editors like Canva or Pixlr, but there's a reason why Adobe is the gold standard when it comes to image editing. I think you should be using their software or something like it for editing your yearbook photos. Okay, so if we're gonna be taking thousands of photos and we're going to be editing the photos that are gonna go in the yearbook, we need to have a system for managing these photos, and that's called workflow. And I think you absolutely, positively need a workflow system for your yearbook classroom. If you're anything like me, you're gonna end the year with over 100,000 images. And if those images aren't organized, you're not gonna be able to find the best ones when the time comes. So check this out. A couple of years ago, when I was still teaching, I made this video right here, photo workflow for the high school journalism class. I'll post a link to this in the description or somewhere up here at the top of the screen. And I want you to watch that video. It's got my system for how I go from the memory card comes back from an event with 1,000 photos on it, to we've picked the best ones and we're gonna put those 2 or 3 onto a yearbook page, which leads right into item number 4, and that is you probably have a student in your class who is not very good at writing, who's not great at designing, who doesn't want to interview people. This kid probably just wants to do photography stuff. I know, because I was this kid in high school. My son was this kid on his yearbook staff. All I wanted to do was take pictures and edit photos. Although for me, it wasn't editing photos, it was developing them in the darkroom, but you know what I mean. So you probably have a student like this in your class. If you don't, talk to the photography teacher at your school. They probably have a student like this, and get this kid in your class and tell them, listen, you don't have to do any of the other stuff like designing and writing. All I want you to do is manage my tens and hundreds of thousands of photos throughout the school year. And if you use this person right, it will make your life so much easier. So get yourself a photo editor, and then step number 5, tell them their main job is to pick the photos that are gonna go onto the page. Only you, a main editor or your photo editor, should be picking the photos that are gonna go onto a page, because here's what happens. If I'm in charge of the baseball page and there are 7,000 baseball photos to go through, I'm probably only going to look through the first 200. I'm gonna find 7 to 10 that work, and I'm gonna use those on my page, because going through 7,000 photos when you don't really know what you're looking for is too overwhelming, and most kids won't do it. So your photo editor, the editor-in-chief, and the advisor should be the ones picking the photos that are gonna go on the page. And at some point, the person who's making the page just gets access to a folder that has somewhere between 10 and 20 photos in it that says, here are the photos that I want you to use on your baseball page. Now, let's talk about the last 2. These ones are gonna cost you a little bit of money. So let me show you a couple of things. If you're still using an entry-level camera like the EOS Rebel T7 or T6 or the Nikon D3500, it's time to upgrade, you guys. You need to be thinking about upgrading to a newer mirrorless camera. Mirrorless cameras are the future. So here's a few cameras you should be thinking about getting. The first is this Canon EOS R100. This is Canon's entry-level mirrorless camera, and they're really the only company that's making a true entry-level mirrorless camera. It's actually a pretty great little camera. For only $379 for just the body, that's kind of a steal. If you want to go a little bit higher than that, take a look at the R10. It's quite a bit more money, but it's a nice little upgrade, or even consider the R7. All three of those are great cameras, but I'll tell you, even the R100 at $379 for just the body or $499 with a lens is a pretty sweet price for an entry-level mirrorless camera. If you're used to shooting Nikon cameras, they don't have a great entry-level camera yet. The Z50 is probably about the lowest price point I would go on the Nikon mirrorless cameras. But listen, there's a lot that goes into upgrading to a mirrorless camera system. So if you're thinking about doing it, let me know or talk to your photography teacher at your school about it and get some good advice from them. Now, if you already have good cameras, if you already have upgraded cameras, don't spend money on new cameras, spend money on better lenses. Better lenses will absolutely level up your yearbook photos. Let's take a look at a few of them. The 70-200 2.8 should be a staple in every yearbook classroom. Everybody should have one of these. This is the Canon version. You can see it's about $2,100. Here's the Nikon version. It's about $2,400. I'm personally am a big fan of the Sigma version, the Sigma 2.8 sports lens. It's only $1,500 if you can find it in stock, which you usually can. And it's a phenomenal lens for less than either the Canon or the Nikons. And I think every yearbook program should have at least one of these 70-200 2.8s. The 24-70 2.8 is also a great lens, and this would be a phenomenal indoors, in classrooms, basketball game kind of lens that I think everybody should probably have one of these as well. And then if you really want to get crazy, then you need to get yourself one of these bad boys right here. This is the 400mm f2.8. My friend Rick Cool over at West Valley High School is using one of these, and he's absolutely killing it with this lens. Look at some of these photos right here. Absolutely amazing. Now, I know you're looking at that price tag and you're thinking, oh, well, I can't afford that. But yeah, check this out. If you look at it used on like mpb.com or keh.com, you can get it for about $3,600 to $4,000. And you guys, this lens comes with its own suitcase. That's how cool of a lens it is. So definitely, if you have the money and you really want to level up your yearbook photos, a 400 2.8 is a great way to do it. All right, you guys, so there you go. There are the 7 ways that you can level up your yearbook photos. Let's do a quick review. Number 1, take a ton of photos, at least 300 photos per hour. Number 2, every photo that goes into your book gets edited in Photoshop, Bridge, or Lightroom. Number 3, get yourself a good workflow system so that you can keep your photos organized. Number 4, have a photo editor whose job it is to manage and edit and organize the photos. And number 5, only your photo editor and your editors are the ones who pick photos that go onto the pages, so you can make sure you're only picking the very best. Number 6, if you're still using entry-level cameras, upgrade to something nicer. And number 7, if you have nice cameras already, upgrade to better lenses, those 70-200 2.8, the 24-70 2.8. And if you got a lot of extra money to burn, a 400mm 2.8. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. Do me a favor, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment down below if you think I missed an important step to leveling up your yearbook photos, or if you think I should be wearing your yearbook sweatshirt in my next video. As always, thanks for watching and have a good one.